Instagram just updated their algorithm once again, and in this video I'm going to show you some secrets that you need to know if you really want to grow in 2024. In the past 3 months, I managed to go from 100 followers to over 20,000, and I'm now making passive income with my digital products, and I'm helping people from all around the world grow their own personal brands. So in this video, I kind of made a presentation for you to get you to really understand what's happening on Instagram right now and how you can actually grow yourself. As you can see right now, I'm sitting at 21k followers and I've had a really nice growth rate. The main sort of way I grew my account was by using Reels, by posting a lot of Instagram Reels. So I'm going to share with you what I learned also, but also like the new secrets that the algorithm has right now and the new updates. So we need to first understand that the new algorithm is now a bit different when comparing to the older one, because right now it's basically a 50-50 algorithm. So I made a drawing in here for you. Basically, the way it works is when you first post a reel, this is going to be shown to like 100 viewers, and like 50% of these are going to be your followers, and the other 50% are going to be non-followers. And the thing with the new algorithm is basically the watch time and the engagement that you're going to get on your followers will not impact the engagement that you're going to get from the non-followers that much, as opposed to before, when it used to just like send the reels to a pool of followers, and then kind of like based on that engagement you would get the reach for the non-followers. Right now it's a bit more fair, especially for newer creators, for newer accounts. So this is kind of for you to understand the basis and like the fundamentals in terms of the new 50-50 algorithm. So moving forward here, we have the golden question, right? It's like, should I start a new account or not? I wouldn't really recommend starting a new account, and I'm going to walk you through this thinking process. Basically, with some new accounts, they have a bug and the algorithm is just not pushing the content. This happened to me as well. The first account that I started for my personal brand was in October, I believe, last year. And I just wasn't getting any kind of reach like whatsoever. And it was super frustrating. And so after, I think, 1.5 months of just like posting consistently and barely getting any views, I decided to just start a new account from scratch. And somehow, some way, that kind of like took off. If you guys already have an older account, you could use that. That's probably safer. Now, if you already have an old account with no bot followers, so no fake followers, no ads that you promoted, so no boosted posts on that account, that is awesome to use, especially if you don't have a large following. So if you, for example, if you have like an older account with like 200 followers and those are just some of your friends and just like some random accounts, you can kind of like clean that up and use that account. Now, if you bought followers, if you have fake followers, if you have like spam followers, spam accounts, if you boosted any posts, just know that that's probably gonna affect your reach. So as long as you didn't do any of that, your old account is safe to use. Like I said, always clear the fake and spam followers, and always go with a creator account, not a personal account. With the creator account, that's better in terms of the insights and just the data that you're going to be able to gather. In terms of the reach for the creator account, it hasn't been confirmed that it's like way higher than the personal one, but obviously if you want to take Instagram seriously, I would suggest to just go with a creator account. Now, moving forward from this, you need to understand the account tiers. So basically, I just put a drawing in here and I'm going to walk you through it. So we start off with like a new account, right, at the bottom, and this is going to be your new like random user. This is typically an account, obviously, like when we're talking about a new account, that is under 1,000 followers. And so at this stage, basically Instagram is just going to test your account, and it's just going to try and see, okay, like what is this account about? So you're not going to get tons and tons of reach. The first 1,000 followers are the hardest to get. Then moving on from that, we have the new creator. And when you hit that 1,000 followers mark, you're going to notice an increase in reach, which is obviously what we want. And then we just have the rising creators, the advanced creators, and the pro creators, which can be accounts of 100,000 followers plus, like really big accounts that get a lot of reach. Now, like I said, first 1,000 followers are gonna be the hardest, and Instagram is going to test your account at first. You need to prove that you're an actual content creator. So if you just made a new account now, you need to post consistently, and you need to also have a theme for your account. So the Instagram algorithm is basically going to be able to understand what your account is about. And you need to also engage with other accounts and just be a real person. So don't try to spend time on Instagram kind of like a bot. Just be a real person. Drop a comment here and there. Engage with people. DM people. Offer value in your niche, and just be, just engage, because that in turn will make the algorithm kind of push your account more. But like I said, at first it's gonna test you. And I remember when I was under 1,000 followers, when I had like 200 followers, it was just like the reach just wasn't there, and it's really tough. That's why a lot of people quit. That's why a lot of people cannot be consistent, because they just post, and they rarely see results at first. And this is normal, by the way, and then they just quit. But you need to know, this is growing on Instagram is kind of like a marathon, not a sprint. So you need to keep at it every day and just post consistently, and it is going to work. Like in my case, I was at 250 followers, something like that, and then from one reel I went from that to like 10k followers in just 7 days or something like that. So it can all change faster than you think. You just have to be consistent. Now, moving forward, we have reels. Reels are still amazing in 2024. They are the best way to grow. And I'm just gonna walk you through my process and what I'm doing, and some secrets that you need to know. So first and foremost, with the new algorithm, original accounts are more favored than aggregator accounts. This means if you just post content that is basically, if you just like take content from other pages and if you repost that, if you just like steal footage and steal reels, we all know some pages that do that. If you just have an account like that, you're not going to get pushed the same way as in 2023, for example. So right now, original accounts and original content works the best. Use the creative content, like I said, and use also like the trending formats, and that's gonna perform the best for you. A lot of people, what I've seen a lot of people do is that they just post, they have this like original idea that they think is gonna just be, amazing, and they work on it for hours and hours on end, and then they post the video and nothing really happens. And that's because they didn't optimize the video for Instagram. So just make sure, whatever niche you're in, just make sure you do your research, you study other creators, and you understand why those reels in your niche went viral, and just kind of like take that format, apply that format to your own page, and obviously be original, stay original, and just use those trending formats. Now, more time spent on a reel doesn't always equal higher results. So you need to just make it simple, keep it simple, and create a workflow that works for you. And last but not least, don't reinvent the wheel. So like I said before, just use what's working on Instagram in terms of the formats, in terms of the trending audios, and just combine that obviously with your own original ideas, and you are bound to see results. What you need to do is obviously you need to use hooks on your reels. So these are just some examples of my own reels that I made. So for example, this reel kind of took off for me. It's sitting currently at 1 million views, and it's got this hook, POV, you made 30 viral reels in 20 seconds. So it's a really catchy hook for the people in my niche, which is basically content creation. And when people see that, they're like, oh, like how did he make 30 viral reels in 20 seconds? I gotta sit around and I gotta watch that. So this is the concept in a nutshell for the hooks. You have to draw people in. This is another example for hashtags you need to get more followers. So use really catchy hooks. These are obviously going to vary in terms of your niche. And on top of that, you need to use trending audios. You can find on your Reels tab, you just go on your Reels tab, and then you can scroll, and then you can find Reels in your niche. And what you can do, you could just like click on the audio, tap on the audio, and then you can see if it's a trending audio, if it's got like a lot of millions, like a lot of uses, that's a good audio to use in your own reel as well. Moving forward from this, you need to write original captions with a CTA, so a call to action, that will increase the watch time and followers conversions. So I just put a screenshot in here. This is one of my reels, and the caption is this, right? I have a caption hook in here, which is make 1K a week with Instagram. And then I have a CTA in here. So basically comment viral and I'll give you free access. And then I'm just sharing my story and some tips, some actionable tips in here. It's gonna basically give a lot of value to your audience, and also it's gonna keep them there. And the more they are sitting and watching that reel in the background, the more watch time you're gonna get, and obviously the more views you're gonna get on the reels. So that's basically how that works. And then moving here at the, like, on when you upload the reel, don't add any topics in here. I've seen a lot of people that are just like going crazy with these, for example, for some reason, and I've tried these out. They don't really do anything. Like the reels that went viral for me that got millions of views didn't have any topics. So don't bother with that. Keep that share to Facebook option off. So just make sure that is off. We only want the content to go on Instagram Reels. And always make sure, guys, you toggle on the upload at highest quality setting, because that is obviously going to keep your reels really crisp in terms of the image and the quality. Moving here, we have the hashtags. So you need to understand they are still relevant, as in they help the algorithm understand what your content is about. So you can use hashtags, but just don't expect them to like have a huge impact in terms of the views you're gonna get. You can also like pick a set of 5 to 8 different hashtags in your niche. Again, look at other creators and just test these out. And the way I like to do it is to just like post reels with and without hashtags with like a 50-50 ratio. And then I do that for like 30 days and I see what works best. So you could do, I did that in the beginning. Nowadays, for example, the majority of the reels that I'm posting, I am using hashtags, but from time to time, I can try to use some without hashtags. So this is just an example of like some captions that I have for some of my reels. And as you can see, this one has a set of hashtags in here and this one doesn't. And I actually think this other one with no hashtags performed better. So, you know, it's really up to you to like test these out. Again, they are relevant, as in they kind of tell and they help the algorithm, especially when you're just starting out on Instagram with a new account or with like an old account that is super small. They're going to help the algorithm a bit in terms of what kind of content you're producing, but don't expect to just go viral because you use like 5 hashtags. Some other content that you can post carousels. So this is amazing. These are amazing for educating and nurturing your audience. So this is an example of one of my posts in here. 12-step plan to grow on Instagram in 2024. And this is like highly valuable. It's kind of like a roadmap with 12 different steps. And I also have a CTA at the end of my post in here. And basically, like I said, you can use these to educate and nurture your audience. So you can bring a lot of people in with your reels, but then with your carousels, with those sliding posts, you could just like really take the time to educate and inspire and also like promote your products with the sliding posts. And in these, just make sure you drop a lot of value in. People love to read these, especially if they really help. And basically with these, the frequency that I would use nowadays is like 1 or 2 carousel posts on a weekly basis. I wouldn't really go beyond that because, again, we're trying to post reels as well, trying to post stories. So keep it simple with the carousels. If you do want to post these, 1 to 2 carousel posts is gonna work really, really well. Moving here, we have the stories. So basically, guys, with the stories, the more engagement you get, the more story views you're gonna get from non-followers. So when you're posting a story, for example, with like a one of those like Q&As, like a poll, whatever. If people really engage with that, chances are your story is going to get pushed to non-followers, and then those people can engage with that as well, and then it can kind of like snowball. That is happening with some of my stories that I'm posting. And so basically, in terms of like the engagement techniques you could use, you could ask people to reply with a keyword. So you can send them a freebie, you can do polls, you can do Q&As, you can post educational, inspirational stories, and even promotional stories as well. Obviously, if you're selling digital products, is what I'm doing right now. And you can share also your thoughts and lifestyle and just make people relate to you. So a lot of people on Instagram, they're just so desperate to like grow and like so desperate to promote their course, their products, whatever that might be. And while that is obviously necessary, you also need to share your own thoughts, your lifestyle with people, because when we're talking about a personal brand, we're talking about being personal. We're talking about being relatable, and an actual like human being. And for example, what I'm doing nowadays, if I'm going to like a nice restaurant, I'm gonna post like a story about that. I'm gonna, whatever like fun activity I'm doing, I'm gonna post it on my story. And does that promote my digital products? No, but it's just, it's just like nurturing my audience, and it shows my audience that this is who I am, like beyond the thing that I'm selling, beyond the offer that I'm selling. So just make sure you do that as well. And basically, I put in here some of my stories, like some examples of the stories that I'm posting. So for the promotional stories, for example, I'm promoting my program, which is basically helping people to grow their Instagram brands one-on-one with coaching calls, with an advanced course, and with group coaching. So I'm doing that. I'm promoting it on my stories. It works amazing. So a lot of these sales that I've got on my Instagram, they have been because I posted Instagram stories. So they're amazing. And also educational stories. So for example, this is a series of stories that I posted. So if I had to start my Instagram account from scratch, here's what I would do. See next story. And then I just posted these one after the other, again with a CTA at the end. So you could do that, and it just works really great, because again, there are so many different ways you can use the Instagram stories. You just need to be creative. And also for content repurposing. If we're talking about a reel that you posted, let's say, you posted a reel about like your top five podcasts that you're watching, you could be posting those on your stories, and that's like 5 different stories. And where we're talking about like a posting schedule, if I'm talking to somebody and I tell them, look, you need to post at least like 5 stories in a day, they're like, oh my, they usually like overwhelmed by that. They're like, oh my God, like how am I gonna like find 5 story ideas? But it's like, once you really get into that process, it's gonna be like so easy for you to understand, like, oh, okay, this is how I can repurpose this idea into 20 different stories. So that's how you can do that. It's all about like really thinking outside of the box, guys, and just being creative. And last but not least, in terms of the stories, inspirational stories. So in my case, I'm posting a lot of the reviews and testimonials that I've got from people for my free course, which I'm gonna link in the description below. By the way, it's an Instagram amazing free course that you can get, and it will help you grow with viral reels, and also it will help you create and monetize your digital products. And yeah, so basically, just find different ways of posting stories, and don't shy away from them. They're not as huge as reels, obviously, but again, they're amazing for nurturing the audience, making people relate to you, and just helping people get to know you. So don't neglect your stories. And last but not least, guys, in this video, I want to talk about some posting schedules. So I just made 3 different posting schedules in here. Everybody's talking about how many times should I post in a week, in a day, This is really, it depends on first of all, on your skill level, but then also on the amount of time that you have to dedicate to this. So if you're a beginner, you can post, 1 reel per day, 1 story, 1 to 3 stories, again, 1 reel, 1 story, a couple of stories here and there, and that's just really on a beginner level. Now on a more advanced level, we're going for almost like a reel every single day, stories every single day, one carousel per week. Again, just like posting a lot. And obviously with the pro difficulty, with like the last tier for the strategies, we just post a lot. So we can post like 2 reels in a day, a bunch of stories, one carousel, 2 reels, you know, 1 reel, like 8 stories. So this is just it really, like, a lot of people just ask me like, what content schedule should I follow? It really depends on your skill level and the amount of time that you have to dedicate to this. And if you're still struggling with Instagram growth right now, I have my Unlocked IG Creator program, which is amazing because I'm helping you one-on-one with mentorship calls, strategy calls, group coaching calls, and also a completely advanced Instagram course. And in less than 60 days, you're going to get results for your Instagram page, and you can also start monetizing by selling your first digital product. I'm going to link that in the description below, and if you're interested, I can help you with that, and I'll see you in the next video.